Find somebody that'll work with us that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirty business. We're losing.
What you're looking at is the most expensive home movie in history. This private, desperate moment, filmed for a project the world was never supposed to see, was just hijacked by his greatest rival and beamed into millions of homes. This isn't just gossip. This is a hostile takeover of a man's entire life story. Pour up, because today we're dissecting how Sean Diddy Combs' own archived life became the weapon used in his ultimate public reckoning. Before the lawsuits, before the federal trial, there was just pure, uncut hip-hop beef. Diddy, the flashy bad boy kingmaker from Manhattan. 50 Cent, the rugged bulletproof survivor from Queens. For over 20 years it played out in diss tracks and subliminals, a cold war of clout. But while Diddy built an empire, 50 Cent mastered a different game, the long game. He watched, he waited, and when Diddy was at his most vulnerable, battling a federal indictment from behind bars, 50 didn't just throw a punch on Instagram, he went to Netflix with a proposal. And he didn't just want to talk about Diddy's story, he wanted to own it. Enter Sean Combs, The Reckoning, a 4-part Netflix series executive produced by 50 Cent. The trailer promised a staggering examination, but that hotel footage was the gut punch. Seeing this mogul, in crisis, admitting defeat to his inner circle, it was raw powerlessness. But the documentary's allegations went far beyond one bad day. It ventures into the most dangerous territory of all, the unsolved murders of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. It features a taped confession from Kefe D, who alleges Diddy once offered a $1 million bounty for the hits on Suge Knight and Tupac. Let me be crystal clear, Diddy has vehemently and repeatedly denied any involvement in Tupac's murder and has never been charged. But the series frames this as part of a decades-long pattern, allegations of using wealth and influence as both a shield and a weapon. Diddy's team didn't just get mad, they declared war on 3 fronts. First, the legal front. They called the doc illegal and a shameful hit piece, claiming Netflix used stolen footage, private legal strategy sessions, and personal archives Diddy had collected since he was 19 for his own authorized biography. His lawyers fired off a cease and desist, arguing this wasn't just unethical, it was a breach of copyright and potentially attorney-client privilege. Then, the personal front. They called Netflix's choice of 50 Cent a deeply personal slap in the face and a breach of trust. This was the emotional core. It wasn't just an expose, it was a betrayal handed to his lifelong nemesis. Finally, the narrative front. They accused Netflix of ripping private footage out of context to sensationalize his life. In their view, this wasn't journalism, it was theft. Theft of his story, his narrative, and his right to control his own legacy. So, the billion-dollar question: how did 50 Cent and the director, Alexandria Stapleton, get this vault of private material? Diddy's team says it's stolen. Stapleton says point blank, the footage was obtained completely legally and we have the necessary rights, and that they moved heaven and earth to protect their source. This is the unresolved heart of the scandal. Did a disillusioned insider walk away with a hard drive? Was it obtained through legal discovery in another case? The silence from Netflix is deafening, and this mystery is the fuel for every theory online. Here is the scalding hot tea at the bottom of the cup. This isn't really about 50 Cent's vendetta, or even about guilt or innocence. Those are questions for the courts. This is about something much bigger in our digital age. Who owns the story of a life? Diddy spent a lifetime being the author, the director, and the star of the epic called Diddy. He built an empire on controlling the narrative. The reckoning represents the ultimate loss of that control. His rival now holds the copyright to his crisis. His private archives have been weaponized against him.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time.
This documentary is more than a series of allegations. It's a metaphor. It's about what happens when the persona you've sold the world cracks under the weight of its own contradictions, and someone else picks up the pieces to assemble a truth you never wanted told. In the end, Diddy didn't just lose control of his music, his brands, or his freedom in that moment. He lost control of the very thing he valued most, the story. And that, forever and always, is the mic drop.
Was there anything that surprised you when you were watching?
I think it was surprising that he actually filmed it. That's one of the moments where he forgot he was on tape.
If Sean Combs watches this, what do you think he's going to feel?
Like, wow, this is amazing. I think he's going to say this is the best documentary I've seen in a long time.
It's a scary situation because you have, 12 people who hold the fate of your life.
How do you respond to people who say that it's more about the disdain that you have for Sean Combs than it is for giving the victims a platform?
What they consider a pre-existing beef, right, for 20 years, right, is me being uncomfortable with him suggesting that he takes me shopping, or I looked at it like it was like a tester, like maybe you'll come play with me type of thing. And it's not personal, but he knows the truth.